Welcome back, True Believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very exciting Marvel Games related video, and today I have one of my best buds and also fellow Spidey Squad member of Carlos Escobosa, as you may know as The Initiative on YouTube, who does amazing videos pertaining to Marvel's Avengers as well as other Marvel Comics related topics. He is incredible. Please go follow him on his YouTube and Twitter accounts with social media. I will leave all his links in the description below. And today we are discussing some very exciting topics pertaining to the possible future, or at least what we would like to see happen in the future for Marvel Games. What's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Glad to be here. I love Doctor Strange, and I love video games and Marvel Comics, so I'm excited to talk about all of it.
And with that ball already dropped, I think that we can just jump right into it. Is actually, yes. You see the thumbnail, clear as day, is verbatim describing the perfect Marvel video game, or at least the perfect Marvel video game which Carlos and I have been dreaming for ages right now. Now, of course, we already have amazing experiences like that of Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Man Miles Morales, developed by Insomniac Games. Another great title, which I'm actually personally a fan of, and I believe Carlos is as well, of Iron Man VR, made by Camouflage, which is a really great first-person virtual reality game, but not in the same sense of the AAA action-adventure format that we do know from other superhero games like Spider-Man PS4 and the Batman Arkham series. And recently, the rather mixed, sometimes good, sometimes bad, Marvel's Avengers, developed by Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and other developers within that whole realm of that format of trying to be in the live service genre. But a possibility that Carlos and I would actually love to see happen for Marvel video games that isn't one that is just up in the air random, but one that could actually happen, is a fully third-person, action-adventure, linear-based Doctor Strange video game developed by none other than Remedy Studios. And just to break down the studio, if you guys are unaware, Remedy is fully known for story-driven and visually stunning action games, and Remedy have created blockbuster titles such as Alan Wake, Max Payne, Quantum Break, and Control. We believe the Remedy name is a seal of quality, packed with iconic characters, narrative, and stylized gameplay. And what better character could this amazing developer actually handle than that of Doctor Strange? And specifically relating to the types of games that they make, genre-defining game changers. Remedy creates story-driven, visually stunning games featuring our trademark stylized action. We are storytellers at heart and aim to build franchises that last. Remedy's games have been made into books, comics, concerts, TV series, and a Hollywood movie. So if you guys have never played any Remedy games before, they have a lot of quality underneath their belt. Some games are more well received than others, like that of Alan Wake and Control, compared to that of some of the Max Payne games and also Quantum Break. But having a developer this talented work on a character as trippy as Doctor Strange in his own AAA standalone game would be an amazing title to actually have Marvel Games develop a complete experience for. So, Carlos, what do you feel about just the character of Doctor Strange as a whole, and how Remedy as a studio could tackle this character into the video game format?
So, Evan, you know I love Doctor Strange. You know I've been campaigning for a Doctor Strange game for a very long time. And I think the time is coming soon, especially with the coming of next-gen consoles. I think there's never been a better time to bring Doctor Strange into video games. I mean, have you seen the visual capabilities of the PlayStation 5? That stuff is insane. And I really think that Remedy is the best studio to handle it, just based solely on their track record with other games such as Alan Wake and Control. These games proved to me that they would definitely be capable of doing Doctor Strange justice, and Doctor Strange means a lot to me for a variety of reasons. Number one, he was created by Steve Ditko, who created Spider-Man, and he just brings so much unique creativity to the character. He's such an interesting protagonist, and a lot of other artists and writers that have come after Ditko and Lee have also just expanded upon that and created what I think is one of Marvel's best characters ever. One of my favorite Doctor Strange runs is the Jason Aaron run from 2014, 2015. I don't quite remember the exact year, But I think that run by Jason Aaron is like ripe for the picking when it comes for adaptation into the video game world. One thing that I really loved about Remedy's Control is that it all kind of seemed to take place in one location, but at the same time, not really. It's like this really mystical area, right, that you explore and navigate, and it takes you on like a variety of visual journeys, even though it's all kind of supposedly in one building, just, you know, connected to a variety of dimensions. And when I think of that, my brain immediately goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, right? And the Sanctum Sanctorum is like this epicenter of magic where it's like full of all these dangerous artifacts and portals to, you know, scary, weird places. And I think, you know, what Remedy proved to me, one of the many things they proved to me in Control, is that they could set a Doctor Strange game in the Sanctum Sanctorum and yet have it feel like this massive, explorable, interesting space, you know? Like, I never got bored in Control. I never got bored going through the same location. I never got bored exploring the various wings and sectors of the place. There was always something interesting going on, and I think that's a very valuable thing. Another thing that Remedy proved to me is, you know, their capability for like crazy, trippy visuals, which I think are like absolutely essential for Doctor Strange. Again, going back to Ditko and going back to his designs and, you know, Eternity and Dormammu and all these characters that he made. I mean, we need a studio that can capture that. I think Remedy could give us a really interesting representation of all of those things. I think Remedy could make us fall in love with the Sanctum Sanctorum. All these things are valuable. Another thing that Remedy really nailed in Control was, of course, the gameplay, right? And the gameplay in Control was really impressive to me. And one of the reasons why is I had never really seen telekinesis done so effectively. When I played through Control, I felt like I was a god, basically. I was lifting things, throwing things, I was flying around, I was shooting my gun, which had like a variety of forms and various ways to weaponize it. You know, I think that shows, you know, they can do Doctor Strange and his variety of spells, you know, they can do Doctor Strange and his cloak with the flying. They can do so much, you know, it's a very creative place, a very creative studio. They have so many great ideas. They've been very successful in the third-person adventure game genre. I honestly think they could even probably do a good job in first person. I wouldn't mind a Doctor Strange game being first person at all. But ideally for me, I would like a Doctor Strange game centered in the Sanctum Sanctorum. I think that'd be really cool. I would love for it to have a horror kind of creepy vibe. You know, when Doctor Strange was first introduced, he was called like the Master of Black Magic, I think. And I think that kind of original name implies the more like, ooh, like mysterious and scary tone, you know? And I think that's a big part of Doctor Strange as a whole. He is a member of the occult, right? He practices, you know, dark things, and he sees things that no one else can. And like going back to the Jason Aaron run again, he can like look through his third eye and see all these other things that other people can't, and he has to like eat disgusting foods to stay alive. I keep mentioning the Jason Aaron run because I feel like so much of that run felt like a video game, right? I mean, Jason Aaron introduced this idea of magic coming at a cost. And when I think of that, I think of like MP and MP costs. If you've played like the Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts game, when you use magic, it costs you like an MP bar. And I think something like that coming into play in a Doctor Strange game, like a stamina bar for your magic. Again, that was another element of Control, like you could run out of your ammo, stuff like that. I think, you know, it's just the perfect character for a video game, because in a video game, you want to not only increase your skills and feel like you're progressing forward, you also want to just like be really impressed by the visuals. You want to have fun, you want to feel like you're, you know, becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, right? And that's something that only the games can give you. Only a video game can give you that experience. I want to know what it's like to be the Sorcerer Supreme myself. I want to see how powerful I can become, how many artifacts I can gather, or maybe even make my own artifacts, right? In the Mark Waid run from the comics, he actually ends up making a sword, and he creates his own artifact called like the Scalpel of Strange or something like that, and I thought that was awesome. So I think a Doctor Strange video game could have so many fascinating aspects and so many things that are like so video gamey, but it would feel so right for the world. There's just so much to the character. There's no way that a video game about him wouldn't work. I feel like there are a lot of superhero characters that people want to see turned into video games, but I don't think all of them justify a video game. But with Doctor Strange, that's not the case. You know, with Doctor Strange, I feel like he's perfectly primed to be a video game character. One reason is because he has a really epic supporting cast that's really juicy, and you have a lot to pull from there. You have Clea, you have Wong, you have Mordo, you have Dormammu, you have Eternity, you have Nightmare, you have Zatanna, you have Mephisto, you have the Empirical, which would be awesome, and many, many, many others. Like, I can't even name all of them. So he has an incredible supporting cast to choose from. He has all of these locations to choose from, all these dimensions he can travel, and he can access them all from the comfort of his Sanctum Sanctorum. He has so many powers which you could upgrade and improve on and unlock. Another thing that would be cool to see in a Doctor Strange game is how different dimensions and locations change over time over the course of the game. This is something that Remedy has proven that they can do, as well as the primary location in Control changes drastically throughout the course of the game. And there's a certain location from the comics called Fandazar Fu. It's a nexus point between dimensions, and it's like this world that's overflowing with magic. In the Jason Aaron run, Fandazar Fu, it basically starts as this like beautiful magical location, right? But once the Empirical attack it and hunt down all the Sorcerers Supreme, it becomes this like barren wasteland. And stuff like that is something I'd love to see in a game. And to be able to actually like physically, or I guess digitally, vicariously be present in Fandazar Fu and experience it as this magical place before it gets absolutely ruined would be awesome. You know, just in general, I think the primary goal of a Doctor Strange game would be to make you feel like Doctor Strange, like you're this all-powerful sorcerer that is cunning and smart and has so many resources and can go to all these different places. I think that would be awesome. I also think it should have a horror-ish, creepy vibe to it, like a lot of my favorite Doctor Strange comics. You know, I mean, you're talking about a guy who, one of his main antagonists is a guy named Nightmare. I should feel like I'm having a nightmare sometimes while I'm playing this game. I would love that. That's another thing that I think Control proves to me that Remedy is capable of, because there were multiple sequences in Control where I was like, what the hell is happening? This is freaky. This is weird. Put that in the Doctor Strange game, please. I want to see Steven like bleeding out of his eyes and like eating like monster goop and vomiting it and like getting sent to a scary dimension where there's giant baby eyes and, you know, stuff I can't explain. And he has to run for his life and grab an artifact and go back to the Sanctum Sanctorum before the portal closes. Oh my God. Then that's the kind of stuff I want. That's all the stuff. That's kind of the stuff I want. The element of danger, I feel like, should always be present. The element of mystery, suspense, danger, that should always be present. Because that was something that was always present in those early 60s Marvel comics. I mean, you're talking about books that were actually called Strange Tales, Tales of Suspense, you know, Journey into Mystery, amazing adult fantasy. I think Remedy can capture all of those feelings better than a lot of other studios. And I think there's no other studio I would trust as much with Doctor Strange, just given previous track records. Also, I once tweeted at Mikhail Kazurinin. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's the director of Control. I once tweeted at him that I would love to see him do a Doctor Strange game, and he responded that he would love to get his hands on Doctor Strange. So that to me is like extremely exciting already. And also I think Remedy has been in chats with Marvel games in the past, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, you know, not only does it seem likely, but it's a studio I trust and a character I love. So hopefully I've given a ton of reasons as to why I love Doctor Strange and why I think he'd be great for a video game. Let me know what you guys think. And Evan, am I right about the whole, you know, Remedy meeting with Marvel thing? Am I right there, or am I kind of wrong? You let me know.
You are 110% correct about that, Carlos, because yes, there have been previous meetings with Marvel Games and Remedy Entertainment in the past before they actually released Control. And the interesting thing about that is that Marvel Games is currently hiring for a brand new director of production. Now, sadly, we don't know whether or not this relates to the most likely flop and possible cancellation of Marvel's Avengers, with a similar situation like that of Anthem due to its, again, lack of live service investment from players, not a really big player base, and of course they lost a lot of money when developing the game, and they have not yet garnered back the income cost that it made them actually create the development and marketing for the project as a whole. Which sucks, but if that means that we can get a lot better Marvel projects in the future, then I am totally down for it. And the crazy thing about this is that this is actually legally a possibility. Everyone wants to see a Daredevil game. Everyone wants to see a Black Panther game. Everyone wants to see a flat-out, actually good Avengers game that actually captivates players in a engaging way, just like what we got with Spider-Man PS4, Miles Morales, and in my personal opinion, Iron Man VR, all of which are great examples of how to treat a gaming property so that way it best suits the characters at hand, not the other way around where the characters are trying to make a game good. It's that the game is trying to make the characters good. And in this case, just as Carlos beautifully described in way more ways than I was expecting, is that Remedy is the perfect choice for a character like Doctor Strange. And if Marvel realizes that their partnership with Square Enix is not financially profitable enough for them, they could then cancel what they're currently doing with Avengers, possibly move on with the leaked Guardians of the Galaxy game, which is said to be developed by Eidos Montreal, and instead shift focus onto making individual standalone AAA superhero games based off of several different characters. And just like Carlos described, Remedy is, without a doubt, the perfect fit for a character like Doctor Strange, and again, can actually be a legitimate possibility. The reason why we can't get a Black Panther game made by Naughty Dog, or a Daredevil game made by Sucker Punch, is because it is a legal impossibility for that to occur. Sony is, again, a first-party publisher, and those companies, like Insomniac, like Sucker Punch, like Naughty Dog, are currently owned by Sony Interactive Entertainment, making them first-party studios, meaning that any game, no matter what it is, a single-player story-driven game, a multiplayer game, a driving game, a fighting game, whatever it is, no matter what project those developers make, it can only ever be on the PlayStation platform. And the reason why that can't happen for any other character except for Spider-Man is because Sony does not own the rights to those characters. That is why Spider-Man is a character exclusive for Marvel's Avengers on the PlayStation platform for that game, which is multi-platform, because Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. However, Sony does not own the rights to Daredevil. They do not own the rights to Black Panther, and they especially do not own the rights to Doctor Strange. And even more so, Remedy is a third-party studio, just like Insomniac Games previously was before they got bought by Sony, where now they are currently a first-party studio, and whatever game they end up making, like the upcoming Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and of course the inevitable Marvel Spider-Man 2, are only going to be exclusive on the PlayStation platform. But with this, if Marvel is currently looking for a brand new director of production to make bigger and better games with, they're trying to scout out new studios to make bigger and better projects for, and if they look at a property like Doctor Strange and how massive of a character that is and how beloved he is from fans, and incorporate that with a developer as talented and passionate as Remedy, it would be a massive success. And I guarantee you right now, it will do even better than what Square Enix thought Marvel's Avengers would do. The main reason, and I don't mean to compare in a mean or negative way, but realistically and factually, given the statistics that we do have for the game, is that the reason why Marvel's Avengers flopped financially and didn't necessarily do too well with overall critics and fan reception at launch is because the game did not have enough content, and it did feel repetitive for the type of genre that it is. That, of course, being a live service game. But for this case, if they take out anything that they're currently doing with Square Enix and the partnership that Marvel Games has set forth with them, and they instead focus on just making good games with great stories, captivating visuals, and of course, mainly, fun gameplay elements, and do all of that for a character like Doctor Strange, of course the future Spider-Man games, maybe some more virtual reality games like what we got with Iron Man VR, That, I think, is the future that Marvel Games needs to aim for. And seeing what an incredible job, for me personally, I think Remedy did with a game like Alan Wake, a full-on psychological thriller, action-adventure, horror game that you as the player can dive into and fully immerse yourself with really trippy gameplay and a really captivating story, and just implement that really cool psychological element and narrative implications for a character like Alan Wake, and how good of a job they did that for a regular person, and up that up to the nth degree with a Marvel character like Doctor Strange, and seeing how Remedy themselves have expressed interest in doing a game like that for a character like Doctor Strange is a recipe for perfection. I don't know what we have to do to make this happen, and I have no clue how long it will take for Marvel Games to realize that Marvel's Avengers is not the route that they should take with their gaming properties, and instead focus on other titles that have a lot of variety compared to what they're trying to do with Marvel's Avengers to try and make them the most money. As a way, it's actually hindering their creative process, and instead making different games based off of different characters in their own unique standalone titles, instead of what they're seemingly doing with Square Enix of making group games like that of Marvel's Avengers, the leaked Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game, a possible Marvel's X-Men game, which would be cool if done right, but if they just focus on Marvel's Black Panther, Marvel's Doctor Strange, Marvel's Daredevil, things like that would really get the gamer base hyped for all these amazing characters thriving in their own individual games. Just like what we saw, of course, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and their own amazing movies for each of these characters, the same thing should be happening within the gaming realm. And it would not be too hard if Marvel could easily find developers who want to make these engaging experiences. And again, Remedy is not only a perfect choice for a character like Doctor Strange, but is also a legal possibility that they can acquire if they move fast enough and secure a deal with them to make a licensed video game based off a Marvel character. Now, of course, they could do a character like Daredevil or Black Panther, but again, Doctor Strange, based off of everything that Carlos just described, would be a 1-2-1 perfect match for Remedy to make a Marvel video game with. And with all that said, everyone, that is the video that Carlos and I have for you today. Please let us know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Do you think that Remedy Studios would be a good match for a solo, standalone, AAA, action-adventure, level-based, third-person style Doctor Strange game? Or do you think there is another studio out there that could possibly do the property better? What other types of standalone superhero games would you like to see? Of course, we recently do have the announcement that Gotham Knights was delayed from DC. We do know that they're also making the Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady. So again, they're kind of focusing on the group/team-up type of superhero games. But granted, that's because all the Arkham games focus solely on Batman. But in the sense of Marvel, we do have Spider-Man, we do have Iron Man in VR form, we do have the whole team game of Avengers, a leaked Guardians of the Galaxy game, and possibly a flat-out X-Men game if done justice, relating to another Square Enix Marvel team-up with that property. But as far as standalone superhero games go, I would love to see a Doctor Strange game. I know a lot of people want to see Daredevil and or Black Panther. Those are very cool choices, but we will just have to wait and see on that front. But until next time, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content like this. Again, please go subscribe to Carlos at The Initiative on Twitter and on YouTube. He definitely deserves all your support. Follow him, support him as much as you can. He is the best. And until next time, everyone, stay merry, Marvelites. Peace out.